Hey guys, welcome back to Puff It Louder, and welcome back to Café Enchanté when we're about to find out what the boy is, or who the boy is, or what the hell is going on. Let's just get right into it, woo! The water, it stopped, or actually... What? What's going on? The entire faucet's just frozen?
なるほど。君ってさ、もしかして。
That moment. The small boy slapped a 1,000 yen bill on the counter and ran out of the cafe. Huh? Thank you, but what about your change?
あらら、せっかくの人外同士、仲良くしようと思ったのに。
Stretching out the wrinkled bill, Mazir rests his chin on his hand. A non-human?
そういう時、本当に普通のお客さんが入る場合もあるから、資格を含めてきちんとマスター修行をするのは無駄にはならないよ。
But what are those requirements?
まあその辺は別の機会にでも説明するよ。とりあえず現に君は林道、その他 GPM とか来店できてるでしょ。
That's right. After we reopen, Mazir explained to me... Oh, wait, no, this is actually her talking right now in the present. That's right. After we reopened, Mazir explained to me more about how the other customers could get into the cafe through... Oh, the barrier. And that was... 1. By just knowing of Enchanté's existence, its name, address, and heading to it. I mean, that's how I get here. I just use the map app. That's how deliveries and other services can get here too. 2. That you're a non-human with powers that outdo even Mazir's and Eel's alone. It seemed like that boy just happened to come by and come in. I think the first condition wouldn't apply here. So then, I'd have no idea just by looking at him. The second option seemed like the one, so he was another non-human? He was one too?
そうだね。この辺の飲み物とか、あとはその水道とか、意図的じゃないにせよ、彼の力が原因かな。
Mazir picks up the iced coffee that was completely frozen solid and flips it over upside down.
来店した時、なんかモヤモヤしたものを背負ってるなとは思ってたけど、彼、半分半分ってとこなんだろうね。
Bruh, Mazir, you better be paying for all of the frickin' piping costs because he probably froze all of the water pipes. If they burst, you're paying for it. Although I still had questions toward Mazir's vague explanation, the first thing I needed to point out was... You acted like you wanted to be friendly, but it didn't look that way at all. The Demon Lord can't come up and start messing with a kid who looks like he's in school. I decided to caution Mazir in his overly aggressive interaction.
あれ、俺そんなに感じ悪かった？すっごいフレンドリーににこやか爽やか営業スマイルのつもりで。
いやいや、控えめに言っても貴様人間ではないな。化けの皮を剥いでやろうって聞こえたぞ。
私も右に同じです。
あれ、そんなつもりはなかったんだけどな。魔王様、ちょこっとショック。
That said, the curtain closed on the panic brought by the sudden visitor, ending with the visitor leaving on his own. Yeah, okay. Don't worry so much, Mom. It's okay. I'm doing all right here. I feel like this is worth much more than the work I was doing before, and Grandpa's friends are helping me out. And the customers that come here are good people? Uh-huh. Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, I'll come by when things settle down. I'm working now, so I'll call you later, Sorry for the wait. It was just after 5 in the afternoon. Around this time, when the setting sun's rays come through the cafe, all the regulars are about doing their own thing. I droop my head, with Connus and Mr. Rindo sitting at the counter, and get back to work.
いや、構わぬとも。あなたの家族からの連絡だろう。
Yeah, it's been about 4 months now since leaving home. Just a call to check if I'm doing okay over here.
離れて暮らす一人娘か。親御さんは心配だろうね。
Shut up, Dad. Whoops. I skipped his line because I was so irritated. Well, for now, I just avoid it. But I feel like I'll need to tell them the truth at some point. I'm sure my mom and dad would make a fuss. I think it's okay to leave it for now.
まあ喫茶店経営だけならまだしも、男が複数人宿を借りることもあるっていうのは伏せておきたいよね。
Rendo!
なぜだ？アンシャンテに宿泊する際、我らは特に問題を起こしてはいないと思うが。
The armor-clad knight disputes his point, and shaking the head he didn't have side to side. Looking away from where I thought his face would be, I mutter quietly. You know, I'm sure no one's really conscious about it, but I am a girl. And Canis and you are all men.
つまり
That means, you know, it'd be easy for my folks to misunderstand. Mr. Rindo, stop laughing and help me!
でもそこがわからないからこそカヌスらしくていいと思うんだけどな。
Ugh. In any case, we end our conversation and I take their orders. Okay, Canis, you want a fruit smoothie and Mr. Rindo an Americano. It's literally hot water and beans. Okay. The Americano might take a bit more time. Is that okay?
もちろんこの時間のお客さんは僕たちだけみたいだしね。
Thank you very much. Oh, that's right. Speaking of customers, suddenly coming to mind, I began to speak while heating some water. This happened yesterday, but...
我々以外の客が入った。
Right. I was like, oh no, when I panicked. The two men were both out yesterday, so it was a good opportunity to talk about it. I told them of the boy that suddenly just came into the store. The two looked at each other in bewilderment.
それはまた随分と珍しいな。アンシャンテの結界の特性上、そういったことも可能性としてありえない話ではないが。
Also, according to Mazir's judgment, the boy seemed like he was non-human.
おお、それは驚きの連続ってやつだね。
Right. Though I don't know if it was just by his power, but for a moment yesterday, the piping and everything had frozen over. If you just looked at him, he seemed like a normal boy. That made me even more surprised. After sharing the information I had, Mr. Rindo mutters behind the steam from his Americano.
と言ってもさ、昨日だけの来店なら単なる偶然で片付くんじゃない？僕がここに来るようになった数年の間でも何回かはそういう偶然があったって話は聞いてるし。
そうだな。GPM のように店を襲撃してくるわけでもなし、特に気にせずでよいだろう。
その説はご迷惑を。
It's true. Canis is right. It's not like we have to get into a panic just because someone new came into the cafe. And, I mean, a cafe that panics over customers coming in already seems problematic.
というか、仮にアンシャンテ常連に人外が増えたら、また僕の仕事が増えるんだな。大変。
アンシャンテとしては良いことかもしれんだろう。諦めて仕事に精進することだな。
I love Canis.
これでも真面目にやってるんだけどね。実を言うと、うちの部署とか今メディオの件でてんてこまいなんだよ。
What about Medio? Wait, was there some kind of problem because we all went to Medio? I nervously ask my question, but Mr. Rindo laughs and waves his hand, dismissing my concerns.
誰がどうこうとか、世界の危機がとか、そんなんじゃないよ。
Look at his no jacket outfit.
というか、誰かのせいって言うなら、 僕自身のせいだし。
It's because you took too many tourist photos, didn't you? Huh? Depending on who you ask, information on the fairy world Medio inside the GPM is scarce. It's considered an unusual world. Normally, written reports or testimonies by Canis would have been enough.
僕が生で妖精の動画を撮った件とか、あとはサンプルにいいかなって数枚頂戴した落ち葉とか草花がね。
God, Rindo!
もう開発班に大受けでさ、おまけに詳しく話を聞かせろって連日朝から晩まで捕まっちゃって。
It seemed like Mr. Rindo hadn't shown up here much after coming back from Medio. I suppose that's what's been going on. I see. It must have been something considering the work the GPM does.
もういっそ現地住人のカヌスに任意同行してもらってそのまま話をしてもらいたいくらいだよ。
断る。先ほど自分で言っていたろ。まさに自業自得ではないか。
Yep.
それにベスティアのように GPM が頻繁にやってきてはティターニアたちに申し訳が立たぬ。
There was one word that hit me. Bestia? You mean Ignis's homeworld, right? What sort of connection does his world and Bestia have? Bestia? I don't know. Canis nods deeply, as if acknowledging my question.
我もイグニスから聞いた話なのだが GPM は何らかの方法でベスティアへと直接干渉していると聞く。イグニス本人もベスティアで幾度も人の群れを見かけているらしいからな。
Somehow able to travel? Wait, does the GPM also have a gate that goes to alternate worlds like ours? Canis and I look towards Mr. Rindo.
惜しい。ほぼ正解だけど本部にあるのはゲートじゃないよ。
He pours some milk into his Americano and puts up two fingers.
確か前に説明があったと思うけどさ、異世界に行くための方法として2種類の転送法があるってやつ。
Ah, right. You were talking about gates and wormholes. I recall the conversation we had about homeworlds just before going to Medio. Just like the one in Enchanté, there are several gates that connect to alternate worlds. And there are wormholes, distortions in space that happen haphazardly, or that appear haphazardly. You can only travel in one direction through them, and they're incredibly unstable. If you happen to fall into one, it would be nothing but unfortunate. That's how it was explained to me. So then, the GPM headquarters has a wormhole?
そう。普通ホールって言ったらどんなに長くても数日程度で閉じるはずなんだけど、何を思ったのか、うちに所属している変態で天才な変態がそれを固定開閉できるようにしちゃってね。
That's crazy.
その結果、ベスティアについては固定した直通路が確保されていてね、飛躍的に研究調査が進んでるんだ。
Oh wow, I didn't even know that was possible.
GPM も伊達に国家組織を名乗ってはいないな。人材の層も厚いように思える。
どうかな。規格外に優秀なやつってどこにでもいるもんじゃない？性格とか人格とかはさておきね。
Crazy genius. I wonder what kind of person they are to be called something like that.
ごちそうさま。さてさて、仕事地獄なおじさんは今からもう一頑張りかな。
Wow, same. Good luck.
根を詰めすぎるな。お前もよく言うように人は脆いのだから。
なんだろう、心配されてるのは嬉しいんだけど、年齢的な意味で言われてる気がするよ。
It was.
気のせいだ。
I take his payment, and Mr. Rindo begins to put on his suit.
そうだ、琴音ちゃん。話が戻っちゃうんだけどさ、ここに来た人外の男の子について聞いた話じゃ害をなすような子じゃないとは思うけど、念のため 僕の方でも GPM のデータベースを紹介してみるよ。何か特徴とか覚えてる限りで教えてもらえるかな。目鼻立ちでも会話の仕方でも。
Features, huh? I try to think back to what I saw that day. He's got like grayish hair and 3 braids. Just by looking at him, he really did look like just like an ordinary middle schooler. Maybe about 160 centimeters tall. How much is that? Let's look it up. Here we go. 160 centimeters to feet. Because American measurements. Woo, he's 5'2". That's pretty short, I guess, for especially for, well, I mean, I guess if it's like a child, I don't know. And he had a slender build. As for the features that stood out, one thing stood out in particular. That boy had really beautiful white hair. That's right. He had shining silken white hair that would stand out even if he was in the middle of town.
氷を使う白髪のもの。
The one who reacted to what I said was not Mr. Rindo, but Canis. Canis?
なるほどね。そこまで特徴があるなら探すのは難しくなさそうだ。何か分かったら報告するよ。
I'm scared. What's gonna happen?
リンド、その報告、できれば我にも届けてもらえるだろうか。
Oh god.
それはもちろんいいけど、何か気がかりなことでも？
いや、これは勘と言うべきなのか。
Canis is nervous.
ともかく調べてもらえるとありがたい。
了解。頑張りますよと。
Yeah, go back to work. Oh, where are we at? Late at night before the next day. Oh.
いや、調べるとは言ったけどさ、普通報告した途端に即作業しろとか言う
Complaining about the higher-up asking for the impossible, Rindo Karu holds a cup of instant coffee in a room that, aside from him, was vacant. He was working overtime.
ああ、やだやだ。僕もいつかの琴音ちゃんじゃないけど、老期に訴えてやろうかな。
The coffee wasn't necessarily bad. I do miss the taste of Enchanté, though. But I suppose that this does come with a nice price. It's free. I can't be too picky given the situation.
で、例の謎の少年の特徴はと。
My fingers brushing against key after key, I enter in the information. I'm accessing the database of confirmed non-humans in the human world. So essentially, an encyclopedia of people to watch out for. I don't feel great that I have to use this though.
身長と年齢、髪の色。あとは能力と報告年数で絞って。おいっと。
And right after I press the enter key.
お、ジャストで該当。てっきり未確認の人外だと思ってたけど、登録されてるもんだね。名前は阿部刈谷くんね。14歳の中学2年生。
14?
体
So
が弱く
young.
学校を休みがち。登録されてる理由はと。
Brindo's face went stern as the text displayed on his computer.
チェンジリング。
Changelings, a well-known part of folklore passed down from olden Europe. A phenomenon where a human child that was just born would be taken away by a fairy on a whim and exchanged with a baby fairy.
っていう感じで人間界には伝わってたかな。
In that case, he might be related to Medeo, this Karaya Abe kid.
カヌスが気にかけてたことに関係があるのかな。
While in thought, I sipped my instant coffee.
おやおや、そこにいるのは情報課課長こと人外ひしめくアンシャンテの監視役
Who is this?
などという羨ましくもけしからん役目を任されている林道薫ではないかね。
not this guy was practically spelled out on his face. Rendo's poker face was usually very good, but it just fell apart here. Who is this? Who is this? This guy, here in this place, had the look that suggested he might have just broken out of jail, or maybe a foster home. But no, he was Rendo's old friend, the chief of development, Akira Mikado. It was none other than the crazy genius.
やあやあ、今日も残業ご苦労様だね。それともアンシャンテでまた何か新しい発見でもしたのかな？はあ、妬ましい、羨ましい。ただでさえレア中のレアな人外に囲まれる天国のような生活を約束されているというのに、しかも GPM 史上初の妖精界メディオの現地行きまで、なぜ僕に黙っていたのかね、白状者。
After receiving a barrage of words, a heavy fatigue fell over me.
あのさ、ミカド。僕一人しかいないとはいえ、職場で大声出すのはどうかと思うよ。あと前も言ったけど、お前を連れて行くとさ、あそこの人外図からの信頼がさらに失われちゃうわけだよ。血液採取を挨拶代わりにするような変態科学者様は、自重って言葉を知らないみたいだしね。
Hold on. If you guys haven't watched Teen Prison, you should definitely go watch that. I literally had an episode where frickin' I'm not gonna spoil it, but I mentioned this for like half of the freaking episode. Like at the very end, I was like, who takes lab samples when you like say hi to somebody? Like, hello, I would love some of your blood, please. So it's so weird that Rindo said that after playing through that whole scenario. So go watch that if you haven't. But yeah.
仕方あるまい。人外とはそれだけ魅力的な存在なのだから。だいたい君の信頼よりも人類の至宝たる頭脳。
I like the fox thing, but the person can just go away.
つまりはこの僕の学術的好奇心の方がはるかに価値が高いに決まっているじゃないか。
Like, get a good lab coat. I think his pet is also like, it's like one of the, like, beings from a different world, so, okay.
養成所チターニア、僕も会ってみたかった。
Ew.
それはもうきっととてつもなく表現のしようがないほどに素晴らしい人外なのだろうね。
Rindo praises his past self for not taking along this walking disaster of a freak who could barely keep his breathing in check. Also, the fact that the text keeps going from third person to first person is really throwing me off. And also, because he knew the reason this guy wanted to meet and research non-humans wasn't just because he was curious.
まったく、リンドウは意地が悪いにも程がある。ねえ、クーちゃん。
Oh, it's a stuffed toy. It's not actually a... Okay. Akira was tilting his head toward and talking to the stuffed animal on his shoulder. Rindo let out a sigh. Moments after, Rindo realized he was making a pretty nasty face. He decided to hold his tongue.
ああ、それでリンド。結局、君はまずそうなコーヒーをすすりつつ、業務時間外に何をしていたのかね。
ん？ああ、まあちょっと調べ物をね。
どれどれ？
こら、何を勝手に。
His body was small enough to slip by, and Akira swooped up the computer Rindo was using for his research.
おお、チェンジリングか。ロマンがあるよね。またの名を先祖返りとも言う。しかし、へえ、この個体すごいじゃないか。
何がさ。
だってずいぶん長生きしてるじゃないか。チェンジリングの対象者はだいたい5年持てばいい方さ。おや、知らなかったのかい？はあ まあでもそうか。情報科課長といえど、全ての人外の知識があるわけではないか。
Mikado flutters his coat as he boasts.
何しろ、本来人間界にいるべきでない存在だ。生まれる世界を間違えて誕生してしまったものなのだから。
Oh god, so that means that this kid can't control their powers or something?
そうだな。例えて言うなら、人間がうっかり猛毒の空気の中に生まれたようなものだね。いやー、10年以上生きてる個体なんて極めて珍しい存在だと断言できるよ。それで君はなんで彼を調べてたんだい？捕まえて研究対象にしていいの？
No! Ignoring Mikado and his comment that strayed him further away from humanity, Rindo thinks seriously for a moment.
人間界では長く生きられない妖精がアンシャンテを訪れた理由。偶然なら別にいい。でも、それ以外だとしたら、理由は何だ？同じ妖精であるカヌスの存在に気づいた。それとも、自分の体の不調から無意識のうちにメディオの気配に引き寄せられた。
It wasn't impossible.
でも、もしそうだとしたら、猶予はもうほとんどない。
With a serious face on, Rindo begins to move. The next GPM mission was unfolding. Oh god. Oh god, what's gonna happen? Oh god, why is he the photo? We're gonna save right here. We're gonna listen to the sounds of rain falling from the sky. I guess like I feel like this kid's gonna die. Like if he already was having trouble controlling his powers because like he was like in the restaurant and he started like making things cold without even meaning to, then I can only imagine like he might like blow up. He could be like a ticking time bomb. Like, oh god, well, alright, Rindo, you go save the earth or something. Next episode, we're gonna find out if we can save this kid or not. Can we like toss him back into Medio and hope that he gets better? I don't know.